Hi guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings,
He's Captain Foley.
and we're looking for a first super thanks Shrike. Strike. Shrike. What? Shrikey? What? I don't know. What are we talking about today,
We're
Samuel?
looking at
I'm
Shrek.
confused.
Are you trying to say Shrek, the movie Shrek?
Shrek. Yes. Yes. That's the one.
Right. Well, Eddie Murphy and the guy from Austin Powers. Austin Powers was also Doctor Evil, whose henchwoman is the villain in Star Trek Picard.
Vatic, yeah. The captain of the Shrike. Oh.
Shrek is always two sets of separation from Star Trek, is what I'm hearing. Boy, I saved that, didn't I, Stuart? My goodness. Yes, now we did see it briefly last week, but we saw it far more this week. Now, I'm sure we'll do it. There'll be more obviously to come. It's going to be the big bad of the season, and we'll do a full breakdown comparing with other alien designs in that session. We've now had a proper look. Let's talk about it. Here it is, the Shrike. And we even hear it's named over after a human bird. I mean, she may be human. Don't know yet. So what do you think seeing it in action?
So hopefully we'll see more action from it later. But it is a mean-looking ship and looks very imposing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this. It does look fantastic in motion too. I can just tell just by it's fantastic design. How about you? What do you think about it?
I mean, it's a nice, familiar yet new design. It does look like lots of other things, and those are either deliberate or accidental. Because as I said, if your whole design aesthetic is claws that point forward, you haven't got many directions to go with that, really, when you start breaking it down. And you notice how it looks in motion. I'm wondering if, Christopher Plummer's daughter, that it keeps doing this. She's very fidgety, and the ship keeps doing this all the time. It's very odd as a CG artist to see a ship just move for no reason. But I'm wondering if that's like a on purpose thing to symbolise that she's a bit maybe high on drugs. Don't know, but all over the place. But it's definitely it's got a vibe already. It's got something going for it. And the size is a bit of a its maneuverability would equate a certain size of ship, but because we are saying compared to two very differently sized vessels, it's hard to place your brain as to how big it is. But definitely, it's doing a lot for what it can do.
That's interesting. Yeah, the whole is always kind of moving. Maybe it's linked to her chair as far as
The default evasive maneuvers. Yeah,
Well, we found out that it's basically a predator, just like the scimitar was. I can list off everything it has.
Please do, Stuart. I'd love to hear.
40 isolytic burst warheads.
And you know what they are, Stuart? Banned. They're very banned by the Kittimer Accords. Those things can rupture subspace.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I started with those, because that already is
tear. 88 plasma torpedoes, which if you play Starfleet Battles, those are brutal.
One's enough.
Yep. 236 photon torpedoes. Now that's probably just photon torpedoes, not launchers. I just want to point that out.
There's not that much space, as you said the other day. Where would you fit them all?
We also have 18 antimatter missiles.
Missiles, not unheard of. There's
missiles,
a few
yeah.
ships of missiles. Rare, but there's a few.
Yep. 20 pulse wave emitters. Or actually, they just say 20 pulse wave. I just assumed it was emitters.
Yeah,
well, they never finished it.
They're not cannons, they're emitters, yeah.
Yeah. And then 30 Series 5, and then he gets cut off, so we don't know. And then something in the primary bay that's unknown technology. So.
Well, that's the deflectory looking-y thing. That said, though, they fire torpedoes from the deflectory thingy and also deflector from the deflector fiery thingy. So I almost want to take it back. That thing's the thing that fires the teleport beam, because it can't really do all those things. That seems silly. I say that, but Discovery A can fire torpedoes from its nacelles. So the CG people don't necessarily work out where things start and end.
Yeah.
And the Prodigy can fire phasers from its RCS thrusters, or the Dauntless, which it can't do. If you hand a non-Trek fan some CG, they'll just put it somewhere because it's just a TV show to them. So let's not necessarily equate that, unlike the old shows where actually they tried like very, very hard to make that stuff perfectly link.
Which you hope they would do now, but anyway, yeah.
But it's a bigger team. It's more across the world. I mean, it's just not the same sort of company. All the original Treks were one company doing visual effects in-house. It's a different sort of beast than it used to be.
Speaking of that deflector thing, a lot of people pointed out it's the same shape as the Enterprise D deflector, and it also looks like the interior looks like the Enterprise E deflector. I don't know if people were trying to make a correlation. Is this part of the Enterprise E that might have got destroyed on its final mission? Because I've heard a lot of deflector talk.
Well, let's get to this second shot, which is very bug-like. I mean, something, not just the pincers, obviously, but the way it's formatted gives you very much a clawing, grabbing sort of vessel. And yeah, the deflector is very, very visible. This was in a great pan away from the ship. Yeah, I mean, very Enterprise D-esque. I mean, who'd say, yeah, they didn't. Well, the scale wouldn't work. It'd be too small for that. But it could be a New Orleans. Those deflectors are scaled down Enterprise D ones. But definitely it's Enterprise D-esque. Wouldn't that be a twist, though? If that is the device somehow from Daystrom and they just reutilize an old Galaxy-class deflector for it. That'd be bold.
That'd be interesting for sure, yeah. No, it's a mean-looking ship for sure. Very, like you said, insect-like or very crab-like almost, which they do a lot of that for the vessel designs, like the Ferengi Marauder it looks like a horseshoe crab, things like that. So it does also look like the conspiracy bug. Somebody pointed that out.
Everyone did, because it's very, very vibes that, which I think now you'd be hard pressed to think that theory now. I think.
Yeah, this episode kind of almost pushed that all aside.
It phases that theory in the chest and makes it scream in pain.
Yeah, but the only thing that's still linking to that whole thing is the Starfleet versus Starfleet we saw in the trailers, which we haven't seen yet. So,
But now you've got Seven and Picard's team versus Shaw and.
Yeah, and I love the trust no one thing was mentioned, and so was the whole, are the people you know the people you knew? Because I hadn't seen Beverly in 20 years. A lot of people thought that was talking about, people being altered or changed. It's just age. So.
Yeah, and besides, we've seen now that the Fenris Ranger know this lady and want to give a tip to get some money because she's a bounty hunter. So I can see Trust Nobody as being a case of this woman's influence has gone further than it should have. And therefore, so that I think is more, but it's a really, really simple ship. Not a bad thing. This one actually works, but the internal volume, we said about this in a previous video. There's not going to be any livable space in the claws, in the wings, and the deflector I doubt necessarily as well. So there is only that middle bit. It is actually it looks big, but if we can ever get a scale shot, take out the pincers, right? It's like Discovery. Take out the nacelles. It becomes not as long as Enterprise E, because that's the nacelles. So, in terms of volume, I mean, I would love to know, it must be tiny, like, relatively speaking.
Well, I mean, you go to the next picture, though, you can see, looks like windows on the pincers. So I'm not sure if those are windows, probably not, but...
That's true. I mean, the scale is so unknown, but... I guess they look thinner in the other shot when you see the whole thing, so you get closer a bit. But then why do you want windows on the floor?
Well, that's the same with starships.
I know. Why do you want windows on the floor?
So, it is what it is. It could be different gravity planes, as we've kind of discussed before. Anyway, it looks like the pincers are full of tech, though, because there's, grills on the side. It definitely has the impulse engines to keep up with the Titan, because we know everybody said the Titan has so many impulse engines. It is a mean-looking ship, especially... I didn't realize how many impulse engines it actually had at the back. That's quite impressive.
Well, yeah, there's one in every nacelle, one in every pylon, and one in the middle. I mean, I'm sure they also I'm sure two of them at least are, or an arrangement of them are at least warp engines as well. But yeah, this thing is going to chase them and pew pew. Speaking of pew pew, Stuart, did you like that they fired TOS sounding photon torpedoes?
I kind of like that, yeah.
Bit weird, but it's cool.
It is. Yeah, the interior feels very much like a Klingon-esque vibe, and could be a Klingon ship if we didn't know otherwise. The controls, the readouts are the circular ones that you see at the end credits. That's the only thing that doesn't make it feel Klingon. Everything else you could definitely just say is a Klingon ship. So,
not like a Klingon military ship though, like a Klingon civilian. This is some warrior ship, because I wouldn't think that's KDF, but just some guys. There's not enough Klingon staples, because most of the room is filled with grills.
Also, they're barbecuers, they're chefs, they're cooks.
Okay, what, to barbecue sidewards?
Yeah, well, grills. I mean,
side gravity
grill.
plane.
I think barbecue. So
So you think she just throws up targ meat into the top grill and gravity keeps it,
and when it's done, it falls right under a plate, and she's just.
And it's got sensors, so that when it gets perfect temperature, it goes.
Yep.
But no, the interior, of course, Stuart, is just the Les Serena's bottom segment.
Oh yeah.
Which I have proof of in a second. And we knew that. I mean, I already guessed that from the pillars anyway. The rarely seen Les Serena bottom bit, which of course is the sick bay, the lead-in walkway bit, etc. And I definitely, it has a mild character of a set, but it also feels mildly, we didn't really design it. We just sort of put stuff places. I don't know how much time I'm going to spend in the set, because it's a redress. Even the consoles are just very, 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 very basic consoles. They're not, don't waste money on things, right? Be specific. But it definitely feels like a lo-fi. Honestly, what a TNG crew could have made. Like, you got 1 week turnaround. That includes filming on it previously, so you've got to rebuild it while you'll design it while you finish filming Les Arena, and then to convert it, and you got 1 week of film on Monday. Not a bad thing, but it tells me nothing about her character, nothing about her race, and nothing about the ship.
Yeah. Well, I love that you mentioned the Les Arena, because the next picture is those pillars, which are very distinctive. They're exactly the same shape. So.
Yep, and you can even see. Clearly, she's facing the medical bay, because you see the cutouts in the medical bay wall and the door, which just has a light. Where have they put lights? Well, where there's a space.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I'd rather them destroy Les Arena than see it. So this is a great thing, And in fairness, they might have been very clever, because we only seen Raffi from the very front of the Les Arena and the reflection of the back. So if they just change the entire bottom bit, and then just swap the lights between orange and blue, they could still film the top, but use the bottom. And then you don't actually have to destroy. You can use both at the same time. Which is very economical, because when do they ever even go to the bottom part of Les Arena? I mean, it's very infrequent. A couple of scenes, but yeah. So economical, But it's not very characterful for a set. It's okay,
Hopefully we'll learn more about it. I would love to learn what kind of design it is, like if it was stolen, if it's a specific species that is built.
Yeah, that's a question. The species part.
It's named after a human bird.
Well, is she human?
That necessarily.
I mean, she's not.
Looks human.
Not human. I mean, would that be interesting as a twist, that this civilian human went out to became a giant bounty hunter, got a ship, and maybe even the middle bit of the ship she already owned, and she was able to buy the pincers, the weapons.
Right.
Maybe most of the guns are in the air, just like in a cell, you can swap out nacelles for greater thrust. Potentially she's kept upgrading the Shrike's exterior pincers to get more power. I mean, they certainly look like they were replaced.
Could be. It is a cool looking design, though.
Yeah,
honestly.
It's sort of a safe design, but it works, and that's fundamentally. It feels better to me than a lot of the Discovery designs, Strange World designs. It's not going to win any awards, but it's, and it probably is a Romulan or Riemann design that she killed the last guy and took.
Well,
I was
going to say, it feels Riemann with the amount of weapons on board, so.
I mean, a smaller scimitar, it's only vibes. And the only reason it's orange is because of the nebula. We don't know what it looks like in deep space. It might be black as scimitar. It might be green as Romulan, like a very, dark shade. We don't know yet. So that'll be a future thing to note.
Might be chrome. That's why it just looks like what's around it. But guys, if we want to hear your thoughts on this design, what do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Have you seen it before? Have any guesses who it could be built by? Let us know in the comment section down below. Please subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of great content all the time, edited and live, and we want you to be part of it. So make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of it, because we want you guys around to chat with us.
And support us directly via the Patreon monthly, join the channel monthly, things like the super chats, like you said, super thanks on any video, and just saying hi, because that helps the algorithm too.
That's right. So until next time, he is Commander Calkins.
He's Captain Foley.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.